Hello everyone, I'm Harold Jemison and I'm going to be presenting on the impact of student loan debt on small business. Is the rising debt load stifling entrepreneurship? A qualitative research plan. With student loan debt now reaching $1.6 trillion and having over 42 million student loan debt holders, with 2.5 million of them with more than $100,000, the student loan debt problem is really a problem. In terms of small business, when we discuss small business or the SMB market segment, we're typically referring to businesses with less than 999 employees. Small business is the backbone of the U.S. economy and is responsible for 66% of all new jobs created in the private sector. But we've seen over the past few years a 5% decrease in the total number of businesses being created in the small to medium business market segment. The SBA, or Small Business Administration, has reported a 62% decrease in small business loan or originations. But why is that? During the literature review phase, several broad themes were uncovered. The first of which dealt with rising debts. Student loan debt total now exceeds U.S. credit card debt totals, and the number continues to rise as tuition increases and interest accrues. Several studies have looked at the impact of student loan debt on specific types of professional students and addresses the impact that high debt load will have on those respective professions. For example, 2 studies looked at psychology students' propensity to continue educational endeavors. Both studies indicated a reluctance in students wanting to accumulate more debt. One of the studies indicated that this type of reluctance could negatively impact the field of psychology in terms of diversity, inclusivity, and social justice within the field. Should students decide that the cost outweighs the benefits of entering the field in the first place? Common themes across this group of work is that long-term concern exists about the decrease in potential professionals due to the amount of debt that can be accumulated during the student years. Additional studies build on socioeconomic factors such as modest family means, resulting in less risk being undertaken in addition to student loan debt. Further, a few studies have implicitly focused on the impact of student loan debt as it pertains to decisions such as marriage, children, and home ownership. One 2016 study focused on 1,300 MBA students in their 20s and concluded that those students anticipated significant loan repayment, and as a result, they were less likely to marry within the next 7 years post-graduation. In terms of the research specific to small business formation, in 2015, a study addressed to loan originators discussed that student loan debt has impacted more than just home buying markets. It details that automotive loans and business loans are also on the decline. The study also concluded that those declines would impact loan origination markets for at least a decade. Further, a 2018 study entitled Student Loan Debt Big Enough to Hold Back the Economy reviews another study conducted by the federal government in selected counties across the United States. And that study particularly indicated that a decline in new business startups was present. Specifically, 70 fewer smaller businesses in the target area, these are businesses with less than 5 employees, were formed in a period, or in the period in which the study was reviewing. Interestingly, 3.3% increase in student loan debt was noted in the counties that were reviewed respectively. The primary research question in this particular study is, does student loan debt directly impact small business formation? The independent variable in this particular study would be, of course, student loan debt, dependent variable being small business formation, influencing variables consisting of loan amount and preparedness. The loan amount, or how much a student loan for an individual is, will directly impact their propensity to secure additional risk or take on additional risk, and their preparedness in terms of whether or not they are ready to start business within the next year or so will definitely have an impact on this discussion. Methodology. This is, of course, a qualitative study. Sample size proposed for this particular study is 5 respondents with professional degrees, 1 JD, 1 MSW, 1 Master in Counseling, 1 MBA, and 1 CPA. This sampling was chosen because most of the previous research focused on specific fields such as psychology or dentistry. The research focused on business formation didn't specifically focus on career paths. So this study seeks to bridge the gap by identifying or isolating common issues among potential entrepreneurs with respect to student loan debt. Since the format is an interview, to minimize ethical concerns, written consent will be required from each participant and interviews will be recorded. The interview portion of the study will consist of 20 questions to ascertain entrepreneurial aspirations, details on the form of business they anticipate forming, hiring and staffing expectations, obstacles and concerns they may have about starting a new business, and any other potential business concerns that would be brought to the forefront. The second portion of the interview will focus on student loan debt, specifically how much debt is held, repayment plans, concerns about repayment once the business is formed. This qualitative study seeks to identify if there's a causal link between student loan debt and business formation. Is student loan debt stifling entrepreneurship? Hopefully the results will give us a conclusive answer.